Welcome back to the Realgrass Artificial Turf Lawn Installation video. In part 2, we'll go over the excavation of the site and the installation of soil and weed abatement fabrics that are important for the project's stability, and how to get the site ready for the next steps. This video has been modified from its original version and will automatically advance forward for you. You can also manually navigate forward, backward, or pause the action using the control console of most viewers. Let's begin. So we begin with excavation, and this video is on extreme fast forward so we can get through the details in a short period of time. As you can see, we're going to begin the excavation. You can do that anywhere on the site, but most people like to start from the back so they're not walking over the freshly excavated areas and tracking mud and debris down their access path where you're taking your materials. A small job like this might benefit from a sod cutter, but it's small enough to manage with hand tools. And you'll notice that we're using a pick, a spade, a flathead shovel, and a wheelbarrow to make really quick work of this task. Our job is to remove the organic materials and sods, root systems, and most importantly the amended soils that should be underneath the older natural grasses need to be removed. In our patio home installation, we found that sod layer after sod layer had been put on top of each other, and there were actually several large flagstones buried underneath the surfaces. It was really a wonder that anything grew back there, really. Now, as we are locating, we can cap the irrigation spigots. If we need to reroute or modify, it's a good time to do that. And of course, it's a good time to handle any modifications or additions to drainage as well. And notice that we're working our way around the entire site, working our way down the layers, trying to finish off those edges as cleanly as possible. You keep your site fresh and clean by just keeping it brushed off and shoveled off, because you don't want to track that material around, and get it down to the natural native soil that's around the area, and that would be your finish. After excavation, our first layer of materials should be the soil stabilizing fabrics we use to separate the new base from the native soils in the area. We'll roll out the materials full width of location and give an overlap of 3 to 4 inches. Now I'll tack down the installation at all corners along the perimeter with nails or jute staples. As I put down my second layer, again, it's a low traffic area, so I'll overlap between 2 and 3 inches between layers of fabric. And as I roll down my last piece, you'll notice that it's fairly long on the right hand side. I'll trim that down and go ahead and tack it down again along all the perimeter edges. We use a 2 to 6 mil non-woven fabric as a barrier for roots, pests, and rodents, and these fabrics should overlay the entire area prior to putting in the base material. So this is the end of part 2 of our 4-part series. You can click the text link to see forms, guides, and other tips, or simply continue on to part 3, which would be covering base installation and compaction of your project. Realgrass artificial turf for lawn, landscape, and putting green surfaces, along with supplies and tools, are available exclusively at Home Depot stores and online at homedepot.com.